I don't get to see anyone's faces. It would be lovely if I could get to see you all as well. Then it would be more interactive. So I don't have any uh, presentation as such because I want to keep it interactive so that you can enjoy and ask your queries or whatever you want to. I'd like to keep it more interactive. I don't get to see anyone's faces. It would be lovely if I could get to see you all as well. Then it would be more interactive. So I don't have any presentation as such because I want to keep it interactive so that you can enjoy and ask your queries or whatever you want to. Welcome to all the new joinees, Khushbir, Priyanka, Shubham, Kusum, Pritam. Millie, I've got your direct message. You can write as well on the chat box, and I'm happy to answer your questions. I would just start answering the questions as soon as the session starts, ideally, so that more people can hear. Welcome, Shovik. Welcome, Dr. Aditya Agarwal. Welcome, Rohan. Welcome, Tithi. Welcome, Deepali. So I think something about travel is how you can do your own jugaad as well, which I would for sure tell you that how you can manage travel very well. It just depends how you want to do it and stuff. So yeah, I'll be happy to help.
Good evening, Srinjoy.
Good evening.
Since we are at the time for which people are waiting to listen to you, I would like to start this with your permission. We would like to start this session today.
All right.
We will be live not only on Zoom but also on YouTube, and we are also telecasting on Facebook. And we're putting the link also on LinkedIn. So welcome everyone to this members forum once more. Though we will be having these members forum more often now. Almost all the Fridays are booked for the next 1 or 2 months from now on. So please keep visiting our website cmakolkata.in to know when which topic might interest you, and you may register yourself for the event. So welcome everyone. I welcome amongst us Mr. Srinjoy Sen. He is a member of CMA. He is a member of IMA. He is in fact the founder of, as you can see, bookmytravel.com. He is the most interesting part of him, which I liked, and I would like him to take us through that journey, is basically at the age of 25, he had visited more than 50 countries. And that is not only interesting, that's exciting, that is, I don't believe it. I'll be very frank. I would like to listen from you, and I would really like to believe what I'm hearing. So it's all up to you, Srinjoy. He's also an Eastern Region Chair at All India Management Association Young Leaders Council. So he has many feathers on his cap. But for today, he is a member of CMA, and he is an expert on the topic which we are going to discuss today. It's all up to you, Srinjoy. Please take us through.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Anirbandas, for such a warm welcome. I thank all the members of CMA, all the guests of CMA, and all the students who have joined us here. So my name is Srinjoy Sen. I am, in the shortest form, I am a travel lover. মানে পাতি ঘুরতে ভাল লাগে, ঠিক আছে? So that is what I am. And so I've not been in the travel industry all my life, but I've always tried to be in doing stuff which would help me to travel. So I'll tell you what my inspiration was when I used to row at the Bengal Rowing Club. And then one fine day I'd seen a passport that while you just roam around and see, that was like full. So like every page was full, like stamp after stamp after stamp after stamp. And then I was like, why can't I do the same? Was the question to me. And then I realized that yes, it is kind of like an expensive passion to have, but then you know what happens when you kind of really kind of push your aim towards something. There is nothing that really stops you from doing that, and hence in my case also it happened in the same way. So for me, what I used to look forward to is, most importantly, I never used to choose my destinations. My destinations used to be chosen by wherever I could find cheap flight tickets, is how I used to go around. So this I'm talking about pre-pandemic times, where I used to keep on searching online, where you could search for flights, and you know there are options where you could give that the to space can be left as blank or can be shown as everywhere. So whenever I found a cheap ticket to somewhere, I would just buy it off, and I would just go to a website on Wikipedia, the page on Wikipedia called Visa Requirements for Indian Citizens. So I just run through the visa requirements for that place, and if I'm okay for it, I'll just go off. And yes, this madness just kept on increasing. While I went off to study in the UK, while I went to study as well, I think something that I always keep telling, that just studying abroad, it's not about the degree, it's about how you get to spread your own wings. So I could travel on my own around the UK, and around Europe as well. I could roam around quite a bit. Mind you, something in case of Indian flight tickets, you might see whenever you see the component of the flight ticket, you'll see there are loads of taxes. So if you're paying a 5,000 rupees flight ticket, maybe more than half of it is actually taxes, whereas the actual fare is very low. So in Europe, like there's literally no taxation. So my lowest price ticket that I've flown in my life has been 0.99 GBP from Brussels to Berlin. And that was like 100 rupees. So this was Ryanair. So they have very different types of uh, models. So if you don't check in, then you have to pay up. If you check in a bag, you have to pay up. I just go with a small backpack and go off and I'll wear a jacket, decathlon jacket with maybe 6 pockets to put in my camera lenses and everything. So like whatever is on you is not counted. That is on one side. And then I actually studied sports management because again, sports is a way that you could travel, explore, go to different destinations as well. So from there, while working in sports, while working for a few months in sports, then traveling, and then then your money finishes, you come back, is what I was. Whereas right now I am into full-time travel industry. I'm a travel designer. I curate travel trips from my own experiences. That I have done these many countries. I have done all these visas on my own. So I have that little bit of practical knowledge, which I now use to curate trips for my clients, and how to find the best deal out from wherever it is possible. Because, in everyone's case, you all are busy people, but then you need a solution very fast. So that is where perhaps I come in, where I try and give you the best possible ideas. And since you all are many students here are here, I have a very exciting thing to tell you, that travel industry as an industry is a booming industry, even bigger than sports as such. Why? I'll tell you. You must have seen very recently there has been a lot of news about the travel industry. Yes, Go Air has gone down. That's fine. There are always ups and downs. But Air India has ordered 470 aircrafts. Indigo has ordered 500 aircrafts. So if these about 1,000 more aircrafts are on the way, so that also means that you would need more airports, more runways, more terminals, more places to be built. And automatically, as an industry, it requires that many number of skilled people. And the hospitality and tourism industry is such which can get people from all over the industry. Means you can be from IT, you can be studying chemistry, you can be studying anything, but you can still get into the travel and tourism hospitality, because the skills that are required for this is not something which can be in general taught in a classroom. It can only be something that is practical in nature. So with regards to travel, if you just travel on your own, the easiest thing that you can do, which I have also done so many times, on a Friday evening, like say today, I just, after finishing work, I'll just go off to Shialda station and find my way to get into any train that goes to New Jalpaiguri. And then it is your way how to get a seat. That is again up to you, how much you can manage. You get on a seat, that's fine. If you might get a full seat, you might get a half seat, you might just have to hang on to something. But if you want to go, you will go at the end of the day, because if you see the general class bogies, you will understand that if they can, why can't you? And you go off. So which I have done innumerable times. And then at NJP, what I'll do is, I think something that I learned in the UK a lot is hitchhiking. You could just go and be like, just stand in front of the road and do like this, and someone just gives you a ride. And trust me on this, I have discovered some of the most amazing hamlets in North Bengal, which do not come into the mainstream media in general. Because what I do is I just hop onto any car which is going anywhere and just go off. That's fine. So there are few skills that happens through these, that you will automatically learn to be patient in life, because there are so many uncertainties. Like you might be waiting to go somewhere, you might be thinking that there is someone who will stop for you and take you around, and then you might see that none of the cars are stopping, and you would find yourself, you have to find a solution. So in general, any avid traveler who just goes off on their own would be a very good problem solver, because they are themselves stuck in that problem and then they have to come out of it. So you try and find solutions. It means it might so happen that in the evening you turn up at a uh, kind of a hill station, and then there you know no one, and you just go to a tea stall and make friends with the people who are there, and then you just tell them that you have kind of hitchhiked and come, and you're looking for a place to stay, and like that. It has happened with me that while I've just shared my story and stuff, there's someone who has come and told me that there's a couch, you can stay at my place, not a problem. So in general, worldwide, human beings are still the same. Pretty much, like, you would be really happy if your, say, unknown classmate in college, or your next door para friend might come and say hi to you and socialize with you. So this is kind of same in all cases. It is kind of just, you might just have to get off all your inhibitions and go and say hi to them. And yeah, the world is a very open place. uh, I I can share a very humbling experience. I was in Lake Naivasha, which is in western Kenya, kind of central western Kenya. It's a lake, and at that time I'd used an app called Couchsurfing, and I'd actually gone and stayed in a slum. It was kind of a box home. And the best part to learn from them was that, you know, that room was maybe as big as this room that I'm in currently, but that was kind of divided into four halves, where this was a couple with a child, very friendly couple rather, and daytime they would remove their bed to make it look like a sofa and stuff, and on one side they used to cook, and for a washroom, I mean a toilet, it was a community toilet, and even there was no water flush as such. That was a manual kind of a thing, which uh, you would find in kind of underdeveloped areas as such, which you don't see in India much as such. And I think my experience with them was that, even after literally having nothing, still they were so happy to share their space with a very unknown and person who has come from so far away. And hence it is something that really kind of made me understand that, sometimes we really think that, we don't really have enough. Maybe we have a friend coming in and we say that, oh, there's no space in my house. But then for them, they literally have nothing, but still they are wanting to share with you. So the kind of experiences you get from travel each day, that will remain with you forever. So maybe even at work, if you are going through some kind of a huge kind of a pressure or something, maybe you would see that you could relate it with something where you had faced a problem somewhere and how you came out of it. So the number of things like these is immense. And yeah, so and there's like one thing that a lot of times people ask, that how did I save all my money and stuff. So yeah, so it's kind of very simple. In general, I don't drink or smoke. So that way I used to save all my money, and then I try to hitchhike all my life. But then yeah, and of course, like last year I got married, then I realized that I can't really do my kind of backpacking and hitchhiking with her all my life. But yeah, so I just went to Azerbaijan. That was kind of a both a work and pleasure trip with my wife. So work because I was going to fix my hotel and car deals there. So the good thing was that right after coming back from there, I could sell quite a few Azerbaijan packages as well. It's an amazing, very friendly, very safe country, and very cheap as well, value for money. So, so this is a bit about, I think, what I thought I should share with you, and I am very happy and open to any specific questions you have as such. And with regards to the travel industry, with regards to the travel industry, I must tell you that it's a very open industry. You can start your own business from scratch without any uh, uh, investment altogether. You could get into so many allied services. It's a booming industry, and hence I really would urge all of you, whenever you are thinking of getting into some industry, to get into the travel industry and at least consider the travel industry. Thank you.
I would like to open this forum for questions. Anyone who would like to ask a question, you may yourself unmute yourself and go on to ask questions. But before I request anyone to come in, Srinjoy, I have a question from you
Yes,
from my
please.
end. Suppose the pujas, we Bengalis, we are waiting for the pujas and we start counting the day the pujas are over, that when the next puja is going to come.
Right.
So, what would you like to say next? During the pujas, where should we visit? What is your recommendation? What can be the place that we can visit? If you
See,
can.
with regards to pujas, unfortunately, what happens because of the rush, anywhere you go, it feels like at home. It doesn't make you feel that you are really traveling. So, with regards to pujas, my uh, my biggest uh, uh, advice to everyone is either during pujas you stay in Calcutta or go right slightly before or slightly after, because you are paying double to go wherever you're trying to go, and wherever you go you will see like loads of people, especially from uh, Calcutta. This is a very kind of a honest, straight on the face answer, because this is the problem. So like a lot of times people go during pujas to a lot of places and then they tell us that oh, it felt like home only, oh same look at eto bheed hai, yo thing. But then see it, and in general, because the flight prices are like generally very high, especially on those days. So it is mostly recommended that you should go slightly before or after, so that you could enjoy maybe a few days of the pujas as well before or after, because you must also remember, because a lot of inbound tourism also happens during Durga Puja, and now especially it being a UNESCO tagged uh, heritage event. So there is a lot of scope even in and around Durga Puja. But yes, you could still plan your stuff maybe 6 months in advance and go whichever place you would want to. Like it completely depends on how far you would want to go. Like around that time, you could think of going around Meghalaya. So there are a couple of ways to go there. You can just take a train to Guwahati and then drive down from there. So I would always prefer and push for India than anywhere else. That is for sure.
Great to know that. I'll come to that question at last. There's one question which has come on the chat box. I can see.
Yeah.
What are the entry barriers in the particular sector? Probably this is asking about entry
The
barriers,
travel sector, yeah.
travel. Yeah.
So actually, there are no entry barriers whatsoever. When I started, also I started from scratch, and the industry as a whole is a very welcoming industry. Everyone would come and help you out. They would mentor you. They would guide you how to take things forward. Uh, in general, I just tell you a very simple thing, that you are a travel designer. People pay you for your service. You would all that you would need is just the little bit of knowledge which you can get from hired people as well, who will get you connected with different kinds of suppliers, people, car rental people, with the hotels. So what happens is, once you get into the industry, even if you do one small package for someone known in your family as well, you would really understand that it is actually not a very tough industry to run. And all you do is you have a cost sheet, and on that cost sheet you add your bit of markup, which is your earning, and then you sell that to your people. And into today's day and age, thanks to Google, you can just search anything, and everything is there up on like your sleeve. You can just instantly go and search for it. So you would find loads of itineraries, loads of costs, everything. So you would know what the best of best are giving you and at what rates and stuff. So then you can compare and take it forward. So in general, not so there are no entry barriers as such. All you need is a laptop or a computer, and you can start working from home. You don't even need an office. You can just start with a PAN card as well, and your trade license comes very easily from the KMC website. Yeah.
I've got a question on WhatsApp because a few of them are connected through WhatsApp. Maybe they
Right.
don't want to they don't want to unmute themselves. Anyways, I can see there's one question which has two folds. One is, as a businessman, this person is asking, what do you think is the minimum budget with which not a budget, the minimum uh, investment with which we can start this kind of business? Is there anything as such?
I started with zero. This is the exact investment that I had. It's zero. And trust me on this, if you start, say for example, tomorrow you intend to start your own travel company. What has happened with me, I'll tell you. When I started up, I just posted everywhere that I started up. And in general, it's a normal thing that people try and help you out. So the kind of help that I got was really great. And I understood that your family and friends are the ones who kind of are your flag bearers, and they come and try and give you leads, try and push you to different places. They would put you to different companies who would maybe go to travel together. So like I am currently doing an event for St. Xavier's College. They are doing a event in Singapore from the 28th to 30th of July. It is called Beyond Boundaries. And again, that has also been referred by one of my mentors. So in general, you'll have to kind of ensure that you have guides and mentors who would be helping you out. I would be very happy to help as well in whichever field you're trying to get into. And you could just start from that. There is no other kind of thing that is required in this. Yeah.
Okay, that was the first part of it. Just before I go to the second part, so
Yeah.
just between, if you can in between just write down your email ID on the chat box before you leave,
Sure.
so that people can have your contact. And I am pretty sure that by the end of this session today, people would be interested to get back to you, because I assure all of you, I have personally asked Srinjoy and has got help from him. Uh, Not that I'm saying that he's an experienced person in this matter, but he gives judgment not on the basis of his personal understanding, but he takes into consideration your budget, your preferences, and how much you can go through. So I can rest assured that if you're asking something to Srinjoy, you'll get a good answer about that. So just coming to the second part of the question, it is very general and normal, but still I'll ask it. It is, if I, with the family, would like to go to a vacation, I tend to forget many things. What is it that how should I make my itinerary? How should I go about it?
See, actually, when we design itineraries for someone, it is completely based on that person altogether. Like, you might be a person who really likes museums, or you might be someone who hates museums. So I can't be having a very general itinerary for anyone as such. It is completely dependent on that individual altogether, that what they really like and enjoy. So the simple answer to it is in Bengali, there is one saying, Obosta buje Babosta. So that is something that really works here. Either you can have a very simple, straightforward itinerary where your basic hotel is booked, your car is booked, and your very basic sightseeings are booked. Whereas depending on where you would want to go on that day, you can still go and maybe pay on the spot and go to that place. So a little bit of flexibility is something that is always welcome, both from our side as well as from the customer's point of view. And in general, I know it gives you a very different kind of feeling that you're going to unknown, maybe state, unknown country, but human beings are still the same. If you are friendly with the person in front of you, they will be friendly with you. And something that I really in a queue to board a flight, all that is stopping me from being friends with the person in front and behind me is just a hello. I mean, I don't think out of all of you who all are here, if you go and say hello to someone, they would just be like they'll and move forward. Them may not be. I mean, this world is not that cruel, and and I know I know as a matter of fact, um, a lot of people might be hating to sit in the middle seat in the airplane, but I actually love to sit in the middle seat. You know why? It gives me the opportunity to speak with two people at the same time and make two friends. Like, if you're stuck for about 3 hours or 4 hours, you can just start talking to them. And I have just by this little bit of nature of talking to people and like of that sort. One time it was such that the health minister of Maharashtra of that time was sitting with me, just beside me, and he was a wildlife enthusiast, is what I understood. And only at the end, while we were talking about what we do, he told me he's a public servant. So he did give me his phone number and stuff, and we are still connected after so many years. But and then I never realized that he was a minister. So uh, so this world is a very open place. It is not about how big or how small that person may be. Human beings are still the same. If you say hello to someone, they will reciprocate to you. So this is something that I've really learned, and I use that uh, every day. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, that is, but I do believe that is a very generalistic answer, isn't it, Sinjar? There must be some places which are very friendly, and there must be some places which are not so friendly. So, can you just
Yes,
give
yes,
a
yes, yes,
suggestion?
yes, yes, of course. I mean, it just depends from place to place. For example, when you compare Calcutta with Mumbai, and where I studied, it was Newcastle with London. So London and Mumbai, I have seen people are more very much self-centered. They're just मतलब अपने काम से काम रखो. So they'll have the newspaper in the tube and they're just into their things. Whereas in Newcastle, it was very much like our city of joy. You know, the chai adda and everything, where you could see like, you know, like a Radhu Babu Dokan, where people of all ages could join in a like tea induced conversation. So in general, I have found that in between the places that I've been to and stayed, it just depends from place to place. From there are some places where people are kind of have like it takes more time to kind of open up for them. So I think there is just a parameter where in some places it is more easier to make friends, and there are some places where it is perhaps it takes more time. And something that I've learned with networking as well, so and something that you also must learn, that someday you might be selling something, you might be selling a lift, you might be selling a face wash, you might be selling something, you might be selling paints. But I have learned something this out of a lot of my networking knowledge, and what I've seen around like people around me is that you should never try to sell yourself. So I never try to sell my packages. I never try to sell tickets. I never try to sell anything. But yeah, I do talk a lot about travel or what I love or what you love, and to induce your interest, because I have seen it will happen to you as well. If someone just suddenly randomly comes and says, I want to sell this phone to you, you will just shut off and go away. So I think this is a basic of networking, is what I have uh, learned in these years, that you should never try to sell. And so that is very, very important. But yeah, it is okay to have something like this printed, and then you just go off, and then people would automatically point at this and start talking about it. So only when they ask you about it that you give details, is my kind of humble advice to all the networkers. And of course it is very important, I must tell you, because there are a lot of young students here, that networking is something that is very important. And that is where I think CMA does amazing work. CMA, if you see the list of members, it has all the who's who from all the top companies, which have businesses not just in India but outside India as well. So I would really request all of you to get involved in CMA. There are a lot of activities in CMA even for students. And if you get involved, it would only make you meet a lot more people. It will make you meet many mentors. It would help you to get kind of the guidance that is very much required in today's day and age. Okay, I kind of went away from my question, but yeah, this was
But that
very
was nice. That was
important.
nice.
Yeah,
Thank you. That was nice.
right.
It's very interesting. You said that networking is important. You are
Absolutely.
saying never sell yourself. That is very interesting. Why? And that is, if we really go through the ads that come up nowadays, if anyone asks me what is the best kind of ad or best ad you have ever seen, for which maybe I'll buy that product, but that ad is a surrogate ad. Men will be
Absolutely.
men. Men will be men. It's absolutely awe-striking ads. They do a brilliant business. But then, whenever I see those ads or whenever I feel like, thinking about those ads, I go to the product. So I never talk, these companies never talk about the product, but they are probably selling the products more than those companies who are
Absolutely.
selling themselves. So it's really interesting. Yeah, that is a very nice point to know that you need not sell yourself. You can sell your concept, you can sell uh, whatever, you can talk about anything, and you can, at the end of the day, you will see that you are sold actually. The idea is
Yeah.
sold. So just before I go to the next question, may I ask people who are listening, I know that people are listening, I'm getting some WhatsApp questions, but if you'd like to directly interact with Srinjoy, please raise a hand. I would give the permission to unmute, because otherwise there would be maybe 2-3 people coming together.
Yeah, I'd love it to be a both ways conversation. I could only see names and faces. It would be I can only see Millie who has her video on, and
She
Shobit.
has the reason to keep her videos on. She has to. She's not intern at CMA, so she
Oh,
she
right.
and
Oh,
not only
Millie, I'm sure you are having a great time at CMA, interning at CMA. Okay, I see the thumbs up, but I think she's not going to speak.
you can speak, Millie, if you wish to. You can unmute yourself.
Yes.
Hi,
So,
Millie. Good evening.
hi, sir. So, there's a question I would like to ask
Right.
first. Yes, the question is that whenever we are going for a vacation, there are time constraints, right? So, for example, I want to visit Kashmir.
Right.
I can't spend 15 days. I mean, I don't have that much time. So, how do you plan for such events where the time is a constraint and you have to finish the whole state? Like, not finish, but you have to see the main points and not feel like you're in a hurry. So, how do you deal with where time is a constraint?
So where time is a constraint, I ask a very simple question to the person, say to you, that do you want to have a immersive experience of just one place, stay there for maybe 5 days, and wherever you go from there, so that at least you can say that, ওই জায়গাটা আমি ভালো করে এসেছি পুরোটা. So it purely depends, and there are another school of thought of people who say we are okay with 1.5 days in each place. So they'll say, I'll pack my bags each day, I'll go around. So
আর অনেকে ভোর 5টায় শুরু করে রাত্রি 12টায় শেষ করে।
yes, that
সারাদিন।
so like there are a lot of people who come and tell me that there is no point for me to take a nice hotel room because আমি তো সেই ভোরবেলা থেকে রাত অবধি তো পাই করবো, and then at night I'll just go and sleep. I just crash off in any bed that is there. 3-star, 4-star, 5-star doesn't matter to me. So again, everything is dependent on what you want. You are the king. You have to remember, customer is the king in whatever you are doing. You can be in B2B, you can be in B2C, you can be in B2G, but customer is the king, because it is because of the customer that you are able to earn your money. So getting into your customer's shoes, that how they will feel if you plan it in that, you would have to use your brains and just do that. Exactly.
Got it.
And
I mean,
so like you could, if you have only 7 days, you could do 4 days in Srinagar and do another 3 days or 2 days in Gulmarg, and while you are based there, you do day trips to other places like Pahalgam and all these. Or a lot of people just go off to Ladakh. Why you are based in Leh for maybe 4 nights and do a one-nighter by the Pangong Lake. So everything is dependent on how much time you have. That's all.
And on these trips, what happens is that you have to travel a lot in cars. Like,
That's right.
I mean, few days are gone in just traveling in cars. So you get
Right.
few days in just going and seeing the places.
Exactly.
I mean, do you enjoy those phases too, where you are just sitting and going from one place to another?
You see, it completely depends on where you're going. If I have a long drive towards somewhere, so for a place like Kashmir, the whole
Yes.
scenery itself is so amazing that you would maybe
Yes.
stop 10 times to click pictures.
Yes.
You stop to have your chai and everything. So in general, like, and of course, you would be either traveling with a friend or you would be traveling with your family, or maybe you are in a group of people or in a group of unknown people also. That is also fine. So what really matters is the journey itself.
Yes.
So yes, you might think that you are going in a sumo that is not too luxurious, but then you'll be fine. Yeah.
Yes. And one last question, sir.
Yes, please go ahead.
And what are the major difficulties you face in this sector? Like, if you could broadly speak about few.
See, this being a service industry, for example, I can tell you that I think a lot of expectation management is required, because I just shared a very brief example with you. So like currently 8 of my guests are in Azerbaijan, and then before this another couple of groups were there as well, and so they faced no problems whatsoever, and exact same itinerary which and inclusions that was given has been given to all my people who are going. Whereas whereas one couple to whom, of course, again they did the same one, they were very miffed at me as to why all museums are not included, where I told them that, a lot of people opt to not go to museums because they don't like museums. So those have been kept optional. So and there is something that I've learned is that in the service industry, to whoever you are selling, it can be a close friend, it can be a close like friend of friend. There is a term called that I use very frequently, is called waiting to be offended. So like your imaginations will never touch the kind of reasons for which your customers might get offended. Hence, you have to be very ready to accept all the kind of things that might come towards you. So as a service industry, yes, it is very challenging. You might have to say sorry 4 or 5 times for things which you are not really responsible as well. I mean, if it suddenly rains today and the customer could not go to the place because of the rain, it is not that you are the rain god, but then you still have to say sorry for that. Okay. So it is very important that you have to be grounded. You have to understand that your customer might even shout at you, because I know, as a matter of fact, if I was in their place and there was something that has gone wrong, maybe for some reason, then I would still be very angry, and that anger has to come somewhere, and maybe that point of contact is me, because I have planned the trip. So it is very important that you need to keep very calm and composed demeanor in general. You have to be ready to face anything. one fine day, a customer might just call you up and say, you're a fraud. But then still, you have to take it and be like, sir, keno, ami ki korlam. And then maybe they'll come and tell you, amake এই যে হোটেল রুমে গেছিলাম, সেই হোটেল রুমের ইস্ত্রিটা কাজ করছে না, তো সেটার জন্য সে আপনাকে ফ্রড বলতেই পারে, ঠিক আছে? সো there are loads of things that might come towards you, hence it is very important to be like accept everything with a smile, because in the hospitality industry it is like that. Even if someone shouts at you, you will see they'll still smile. All right, so yeah, so you just need to be open, that's all, and you'll be fine.
Thank you, sir. I mean, it was a great, we just go on tours, but we don't dive into and see all these, what happens on the other side, like what goes through a travel planner and someone who travels and manages so many things together. We just complain, but we don't think about the other factor.
Right, absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, Srinjoy, 2 questions have come. The first one is very easy and you can answer it in one line. I understand that it is, what inspired you to start this business in this particular field?
I think, again, I told you, I just wanted to have a full passport with like every single page stamped.
So that is the passion. The passion
yeah, and
to have a full passport.
Yeah, and then land up at what is the tower called? I forgot the
Eiffel
name.
Tower?
No. Are just beside Ruby, where you go and you're like, passport full হয়ে গেছে, ওই জন্য এসছি নতুন passport করতে. So
786 Aundupu.
Yeah, correct. Oh, you know the address as well. Oh my God. See,
that is named.
Anirbanda is, mind you, he's a super guy. So always remember, you must get in touch with him and be in touch with CMA. And CMA is an organization that will really help you out. So if you get a chance to intern with him, you must do, you'll get to learn a lot. So yeah, so these are what was like my inspiration that I really want to travel. And I think another thing that really mattered to me was that I really wanted to understand the cultures. I wanted to understand that it's something that is, we in general, whenever we are born and brought up in a certain way, and then we think that, that is the only way that people live life in. And it is only when you travel far and wide, I mean, just start traveling around India, you'll be fine. And you'd realize that there are people of so many diverse cultures, so many diverse food. And I think I eventually became a foodie while traveling, because what I would do is I would just land up in any place and I would never go to restaurants. I would just go to those, those roadside thelawalas, where I would find the most people queuing up to have is perhaps always your best bet for food. Because, if hundreds of people are eating from there, it is very obvious that they can't be bad. So yeah, I'd just go off and try whatever, and I'll just ask, what is this? And same, and start having. So in general, you'll just be fine. And yeah, I mean, unknowingly, I've ended up having a lot of strange things. But yeah, if you have an open mind, you're open to trying new stuff, so you'll be fine. Yeah.
Like you said that once when you're planning your tour, you should have some preferences. Now, if I'm planning my tour, my preference would be food. Now, absolutely food. Tell me the places where I can get good street food. Shingara pele shingara khabo, pakoda pele pakoda khabo, but please tell me those places where I can get good food.
I think yes, food is something that really attracts all of us. So a major part of the hospitality industry is food. So the food industry as a part of the hospitality industry is great. A lot of people travel around the world actually for food. Like you could just walk around the back of Jama Masjid and it's kind of a crazy food trail around there. Back in Calcutta also, all the Instagrammers are only stationed in Zakaria Street. Uh, so in Lucknow itself, like all these famous ones like Dastar Khan and all of the places that you walk through in Lucknow and the type of food that you get. So food is something that would really push you to go. And I also, whenever I travel, I try and find like what are the hidden kind of gems. And in today's day and age, we are, I think, very lucky to have Google. You don't really need anyone's help or guidance. You can just go on Google, search for it, and you can see 500 reviews of that place. And so there will be someone saying it's not too good, it's not too bad, and you can do your own judgment.
When I was small, my father used to, my father, I got this from my father, love for tourism, love for travel.
Yeah.
We are actually, means most of us are, means we get time, the time that Shomali was mentioning, the time that we get is only maybe 2 times a year for short span of time with a limited budget. But my father taught me something. He used to always, during the pujas, used to buy on those days either the Bhramon book or the Bhramon CD. And we all together used to sit down and have during supper time, sit down and completely gobble the place where that CD is showing us. It used to be an experience. So though we couldn't go there, my father, every now and then he calls me up still now. বুঝলি আজকে আমি ভিয়েতনামটা ঘুরে এলাম যা কবে গেলে এই তো ঘুরে এলাম 15 মিনিট আগে so it's really nice, it's good that these bloggers are doing that kind of a so after this question that is on the chat, I'll ask one more question and we'll wrap up for the day. But before that, once again, let me tell you, to all of you, Srinjoy has given the email ID on the chat box. And if you wish to know more about it, you can always ask me, Calcutta Management Association. We have our own website, cmakolkata.in. You can mail us, you can mail Srinjoy, and please be in touch. I really assure you that Srinjoy is not going to give you only a suggestion, he's going to give you an experience, which I have got. Thanks to him though, and he knows why I'm telling that. Just last 2 questions. How much is the profit margin in this sector? I would like to just change it a little bit. What profit margin would you expect? What is good to sustain yourself?
I'll give you some very basic business models. So in flight tickets, you can just go online and see what flight prices are there. In general, the margins in flight prices are literally nothing. Like if you buy a 5,000 rupees flight, the margin you would have is maybe 100 rupees or maybe 200 rupees in that. So you really cannot sustain yourself with a flight ticket business as such. Your main motive has to be to have a package, where in your package business. So what I do is I a lot of times I give flight tickets at a very cheaper price or even at a loss to people, so that I could gain the customer. The customer comes to me. That is customer acquisition. That is your first point, that when the customer comes to you. And then when they start doing their whole bookings, that is when I earn my money back. So it is like an investment that you do towards your clients, that, someone might come with a screenshot of Make My Trip that, this is 10,000 rupees. What can you give it to me for? So I'd always give them at a lower price than that what they are getting online. Only then they will come to me. It is a very obvious thing that I would only buy it at a place where I would get it the most cheapest, right? So you would see in a packages point of view, there are big companies who can keep maybe 10 to 15%. But smaller companies have to keep just around that number only when it comes to packages. See, actually what happens, we as travel designers or travel agents, travel industry agents, it is also up to your hard work. So with a hotel, if I have a deal that they would give me a B2B rate, means I get it at 10 rupees and I sell you at 12 rupees. So that 2 rupees comes in my pocket. So that is a B2B rate that is given to me by, say, the hotel, by the airline, by the car owner from whom I rent my car. So it is very important to make your own association. So the moment that they would see that you are sending more and more people to them, they would automatically give you a more preferred rate, a more preferred, whatever is required. You would have direct access to them. So it really helps you out. So it is, as you keep growing step by step, you would see that your margins are also increasing. So yeah, it's a very step by step process as such. Don't get disheartened with low numbers. The most important thing is to start, is something that I really want to tell all the young friends who are here. It takes a lot of courage to just go out and say, I'm starting something. So you just start, and I'm sure there are people around who would help you out.
Before you start, you really have too many questions. But once you start, you really tend to think that why did I really ask that question? It's answered when I start a business.
Right.
So finally, last question, since there are many girls who have joined us, there are women who have joined us.
Right.
There would be enthusiasts who would like to go to visit, like you said, hitchhiking. I would just like to know, which is a place that you would say strictly no for girls in India and also abroad? 2 places.
I don't, and I mean, any place that is strictly no for women as such is strictly no for human beings also. So there is no such place that you would say like that. And in general, in India, I know a lot of women solo travelers. I've met a lot of women solo travelers as well, not just in India, whereas outside India as well. So the best thing is that everywhere the security, the safety, and all these things has only improved, because people know that if for that place to prosper, if that place to become a tourist hub, then it's very important is security. So in general, trust me on this, you can be a solo mother, you can be a solo college goer, you can be just married, or you can be just before marriage. You can just take your bag and go off, and you'll just be fine. And absolutely, there is no problem whatsoever. I know, like, say, be it in Sri Lanka, Myanmar, or anywhere that I've been, I've always seen so many young ladies traveling on their own, just gone out. And this is also, I must add that in India we have this obsession that we have to complete everything within whatever is our age stipulation, whereas in America or UK or Europe, every child after their class 12, they take a gap year. Now what the gap year exactly means is that you are given to go out and explore the world on your own. How that happens? Someone might just fly into Goa, they would just work in a bar, or they would just work in a hostel. Say for 3 or 4 days, they would sit on the reception and work as a receptionist, and 3 days they would travel on their own. And what happens is that gives a very practical knowledge to them, how much it requires to earn. Because we, in general, from whatever we see from our father or our mother in general, we have a very different outlook towards how to earn money. We never have a real understanding, like koto dhane, koto chal. So that can only come when you do it yourself. So then you will know that, I did not do anything bad, yet the boss came and shouted at me. So then you will know the real understanding as to why things happen and what way it happens. So in that gap year, what happens? In that gap year, the mind of the student, that 18-year-old, really opens up. That is the time they get enough time to think what they would want to do in life. They get enough exposure to people. They get enough exposure to experiences. And yes, in every single experience, there is like a good and bad as well. So from the good as well as bad that they experience, that someday they might have to wait for 4 hours to catch a bus. That's fine. At least you come back with a story. So with that, then they come and say, Papa, I want to get into a nursing college, because I found out that, there's a huge dearth of nursing in wherever they are staying. So it really depends. So it is very important to let go of, whatever you're trying, because in general, in Indian our mom, dad had already perhaps fixed what we do before we were born even. So we do not get the pleasure of choosing or going through to do what we end up doing, which is a bigger reason why you would see a lot of Indian entrepreneurs, whatever their passion is, they start very late. So for example, I'm 29, that I have started my travel business. I've started it at the age of 29. I must say it is very late when it comes to a global perspective, because people would just start in their early 20s ideally, but then we don't really get the chance. We are just pushed into that whatever they would want to, and then maybe later we branch out. Right?
So there are two things. One is, you said, yes, there's a story you can tell when you're waiting for a bus, but I know very well that my son would come back and say, Baba, I'm a conductor of this. I'm pretty sure about that. The second thing is, Srinjoy, from Srinjoy to everyone, to every, be it a boy or a girl, go out, enjoy, experience yourself, experience the world. So why should men have all the fun? That is what he says. So I do not have any place from him officially saying a no to either a boy or a girl. So that was very nice talking with you, Srinjoy. It was, I would say, this was it was a storytelling session. It was a interactive experience sharing session. And before I log off, wait, all the participants, I know that you are waiting for the e-certificate. It will be available on the screen. It will be available on the chat box. Don't worry about that. But please keep this email ID with you, because I know today or tomorrow you will need it. Joy, 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 at srinjoysen.com. It's on the chat box. Srinjoy, if you could just repeat it once.
What I'll do is, wait, everyone in the meeting. So I've left my phone number as well. You can save my number and drop me a WhatsApp as well. I'm very happy to interact with you all, and anytime you have any questions, feel free to WhatsApp as well. I'm okay.
So you have that as well. So you have WhatsApp number, you have the email IDs. What more do you need? If you need anything, he's there. We are here.
And my earnest request to all of you, that you should tell your friends as well, your classmates as well, that you must get involved in an organization like CMA, because it has helped me a lot, and it will help you as well. So it is very important to get yourself involved in organizations.
Thank you, Srinjoy. Thanks a lot. Thanks to everyone for joining. So we log off at the moment. Don't worry. I'll show you on the screen, share with you the e-certificate and the feedback link. Please do give a very genuine feedback, which we can use, because this is a forum we are using for our future use. Means we will be having these people come back again with more particular courses, more particular master classes, which we can help you with. So all the best to all of you. Thank you, Srinjoy, for taking time.
Thank you.
Thanks to all of you for taking time out. We will just show you the details on the screen. Thank you. Bye.